Hi, this is Christy the Baker, and I'm going to be having a series on my YouTube channel, which is basically in a book club style form where I talk about a book that I'm reading and basically go through it chapter by chapter while I'm showing myself working on sourdough or other kitchen baking related things and possibly some other stuff as well. But for the most part, it's going to be me working on sourdough. So the first book that I'm going to read in this book club is Wrinkle in Time by Madeline L. Ingle. She was born in 1918. She was born in New York, and she's best known for Wrinkle in Time, and she went to school at Smith College, and she died in 2007 in Connecticut. As I said, she's most famous for Wrinkle in Time, which she read to her kids, but it took a little bit to get published. And after it became published, it became a banned book because of controversy, misunderstanding on what the themes were in the book, believing that it was anti-Christian or promoted occultism. However, this was contrary to the actual person that she was, because she was a Christian and was very passionate about her Christian faith. So her book was basically ahead of its time and misunderstood. So Wrinkle in Time did have some sequels, which I will be reading them possibly as part of the book club, depending on how things go, but I am planning to read them next, so they probably will be the next books in the book club. One of the reasons why I was inspired to make this my first book club book is because watching Stranger Things, it reminded me of my childhood and other times whenever I've read this book throughout my life, and I was very surprisingly able to acquire one of the exact same books that I read that was in my junior high library. One of the teachers that was from the school that I went to kept a few of the copies, and she gave me one for free, which I was very grateful for. I ended up giving her some sourdough as a thank you for giving me that book, and I'm very honored to have that. It even has the stamp from my school inside of it, so pretty excited for this to be my first book that I talk about in this book club. And another reason why I wanted to do this is because so many times throughout my life, whenever I've had sleepover parties or even with my husband, my talking seems to soothe people and just make them fall asleep when I'm talking for some reason. So I thought that maybe if I had a couple of different series on my YouTube where it's basically like ASMR style, watching sourdough, watching things like this while listening to me talk about books. So I'm also thinking about doing maybe story time series where people give me stories to tell or my own stories to tell while I do similar stuff. So I'm not really sure how long these videos will be, probably anywhere from 5 minutes to longer, just depending on what's going on. But I plan to pretty much do it chapter by chapter. So basically just stay tuned, and just remember that we always take water shots on my channel. So anytime you hear me say so, and, or any of these just annoying words, take a shot of water. But here's the result of this bread. This loaf is a little bit over fermented, but overall I think it turned out really good and will be great to eat with lasagna. It's an Italian loaf, by the way.